Hello, I'm Jeffrey Peterson, AFA MEC President at Alaska Airlines. Today is Thursday, April the 18th, 2013. We just finished up 3 days of negotiations at the Alaska Airlines Flight Operations and Training Center in Seattle. This week did start out a little contentiously. As you know by now, that management did disallow the use of the pin backers with our AFA pin over the weekend. The MEC was in town for our negotiation session on Monday as a show of solidarity with the negotiating committee. Unfortunately, management somehow lost that date, so when we went to go to the table, they were not prepared to meet with us, despite the fact that we had confirmed that date for several months now, and we, on our side at least, that had been on the books for some time. The negotiating committee and the MEC made it known at that time that we were very displeased with some of the scheduling challenges that we've experienced. As we moved into Tuesday morning, we were expecting a response on our comprehensive proposal that was presented last session. Management made it known that they would not be ready to give us that proposal that day, and perhaps not even this week. We found that to be more than disappointing. So the negotiating committee canceled the rest of the session on Tuesday, and we made an appointment to meet with Brad Tilden and Ben Minicucci. They were very generous in giving us their time that same day on very short notice, so we do appreciate upper management for meeting with us. The negotiating committee and the entire MEC met with Brad, Ben, Shane Tackett, and Andy Schneider at Alaska Corporate, and we had a frank discussion about expectations and frustrations with negotiations, and then also some of our concerns with relations between AFA and management. Management expressed the fact that they were not very happy with us using the pin backer, and as a sign of good faith, the MEC voted to not wear the pins for the week of negotiations. So the negotiating committee and the officers have removed their pins, their pin backers, for the remainder of the session. And we told management that we'd respond by the end of the week in regards to a long-term strategy for the pin backers. So for the time being, nobody should be wearing the pin backers. Management has issued a directive saying that no one should be wearing those, and we do ask that you comply. We have heard reports that some supervisors have been asking flight attendants to remove their 4 bases, 1 voice bracelets, and just remember those are not outdated. It's 5 bases, 1 voice, but I understand why people could still wear them. Unfortunately, that has been happening the last few days. We've asked Andy to clarify that the bracelets may be worn, and she has confirmed that. So for those of you that are wearing the 4 bases, 1 voice bracelets, you may continue to wear those until further notice. Management does reserve the right to change the uniform procedures and protocols going forward, so there is always a possibility that they may tighten up the standards for wearing the bracelets. On that note, we've also heard that some flight attendants have been doing their own actions, such as wearing ribbons behind their pins, and even some of their own bracelets that have a negotiations message or some kind of solidarity message behind it. We don't want anyone getting disciplined for taking their own actions, and we will ask that you please be cognizant of the fact that any actions that are taken should be a union-sanctioned action and is not warranted at this time. So please do not be wearing your own pins in solidarity with the negotiating committee, or perhaps your own bracelets that might have a message regarding negotiations. We really appreciate the support, but what you can do for us is to go ahead and wear your standard, the classic AFA pin. That will be very helpful for us. So let's go on to what's actually discussed this week. We passed Section 3 scope, Section 16 sick leave and on-the-job injury, and Section 27 Association-General. We continue to make movement on those sections. Late Wednesday, we began to have an off-the-record conversation, and that meaning that we did not pass official proposals on paper, but just were having a chat on how to close the gap between our respective positions, and then also how to just get the contract done. So this momentum has continued through earlier today, Thursday, and it feels like we might have finally made some first steps towards actually making progress towards closing this deal up. We don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but we are hoping that this momentum continues the next session. So the next session is scheduled for April the 29th through May 2nd, in just a week and a half. Until then, if you have any questions, you can always contact the negotiating committee by sending us an email at negotiations@alaskamec.org. There is the Alaska Airlines Negotiations Facebook page. the YouTube video channel, and as always, you can find information about the MEC and negotiations at www.alaskamec.org.